How much did you pay to file your taxes?
$49.
I think it was about $350.
I actually paid $100.
Why are these prices all over the place?
¿Qué método utilizaste para preparar tus impuestos?
Usé un tax preparer.
I went to the IRS website and just did their free file option.
Usé H&R Block.
I have a personal accountant that I use, yes.
But even among tax preparers or CPAs, what you pay can vary greatly. This begs the question, how do tax preparers set the rates?
Tax preparers have all sorts of ways to set their prices. This is not anything that is uniform across the board.
That's Adam Markowitz, an enrolled agent and the owner of Luminary Tax Advisors, a small accounting firm in Central Florida.
You can go to 7 different accountants and get 12 different quotes for a tax return. You'll see many who charge by the hour. You'll see many who charge by the form. Many other firms will just have a tax preparation fee. Many will have separate fees for tax planning. Many will have separate fees for even things like electronic filing.
Markowitz has been helping people preparing their tax returns for the last 16 years. While it's true there is no right or wrong answer to the question of what determines a tax rate, the 2021 Income and Fees Survey from the National Society of Accountants does show some factors can play a big role, starting with geography.
Geography matters for a couple reasons. Number one, if you are located in an income tax state, a state that requires you to file a state income tax return, it's another tax return that needs to be filed. So just right there, there's just more work to do. I'm located in Florida. We don't have state tax returns. But when someone contacts me from Georgia or New York or California or wherever else, yes, their fees are higher.
That's one of the reasons why the average tax preparer fee in California is about 58% more expensive than that of a tax preparer in Tennessee, where there is no state income tax. But you might get lucky. Some tax preparers like Fred Stein, a certified public accountant, say they don't charge differently because of a client's location.
Our prices are consistent whether we're in upstate rural New York, whether we're in rural Virginia, or we're out here in California.
But it's not just the tax form you're paying for. You're also paying for where the tax form is being filled out.
A tax preparer in rural Iowa probably is not going to charge as much as a tax preparer who's in downtown Chicago, who has the overhead that comes with more staff, higher paid staff, higher cost of maintaining a building, etc.
Then there's another factor to look out for: credentials. We looked into rates for 3 firms and found that they have about a $400 difference if a tax return is prepared by an enrolled agent or a CPA. An enrolled agent is a federally licensed tax practitioner who can represent taxpayers before the IRS when it comes to collections, audits, and appeals.
There are CPAs out there, there are attorneys out there, there are enrolled agents out there who, by right, because these licenses obviously are not easy to get and easy to keep, they may charge more based upon the fact that they have credentials. But rest assured, when you are dealing with someone with a credential, you're dealing with someone who A, had to work really hard to get that credential, and B, is constantly under the scrutiny of their board, looking over them to make sure that they can keep their credential.
But credentials can also come in the form of experience.
What you should be asking is, how long has that person been doing taxes? I can go pass an EA exam or a CPA exam, okay, and I have those designations, but I may not have done taxes much at all. People shouldn't be so spellbound with credentials as opposed to the experience of the people.
The last factor that influences how much you pay is when you actually have control over as a customer. A lot of control, actually. It's your organizational skills. It's not uncommon for tax preparers in the US to increase their fees to clients who submit their documents in a shoebox. The 2021 NSA survey found that 75% of tax preparers increase their fees by an average of $145 for disorganized or incomplete paperwork.
A client who comes to us with all of their documents in readable form, where we don't have to chase down other documents, is always going to it's just going to be a better process. And when it's a better process for us, it's a better result for the client in terms of what they're paying.
People have a business and they'll bring us a box of receipts. I go, well, that's not part of your tax return. Now you're looking at a bookkeeping engagement, and I give them the option. We can do this, it's going to add $600 to your return, or you can do this, put this in the order for me, and you're going to get charged the normal price for your tax return. We let them know it's going to be expensive.
When it comes to tax returns, there is not a definite answer on how tax preparers set the rates. However, if hiring a professional is part of your plans, make sure that you understand your state's tax return and know what kind of credentials your advisor needs based on the complexity of your return. One thing is for sure, keep your documents organized.